Hey everyone, welcome back to the 9 Frames podcast. This is episode 16. It is Monday, August 28th, 2023, and I am Bill Whalen.
And I'm Mike Whalen.
You can catch us on YouTube at 9 Frames Podcast. We're on Spotify at 9 Frames, and we're on X at 9 Frames Pod, folks. You can catch us on playergm.com.
Yeah, make sure to like and subscribe.
Please do.
It all helps.
Definitely. We're going to get into the baseball. It was a pretty busy weekend of baseball, I'd say, right?
As usual. I mean, we've been talking about it. The schedule makers it's like they saw the future before they wrote it up.
This was a busy weekend for the end of the dog days, and Houston takes 2 out of 3 versus Detroit.
Almost into September.
Houston takes 2 out of 3 versus Detroit. That's what we said they needed to do.
Yeah, I mean, that was the bare minimum.
It needed to be 2 out of 3 or a sweep, and they take 2 out of 3, so good for Houston. But the Seattle Mariners sweep Kansas City. And they now lead the AL West by 1 game full.
I think I saw that was like the quickest 10-game deficit being erased like in history or something like that.
Yeah, dude, it's super interesting. They're on another 3-game win streak, only split up between 1 loss on an 8-game win streak.
Yeah, it was like within 30 days they made up a 10-game deficit, and now they're in the lead. They
just won 15-2 a couple days ago, so now they're up over 100 run differential. Positive.
Yeah, I was about to just say that they're like almost catching the Rangers. They're only 70 runs behind them in the differential now.
This podcast is getting funny because it just kind of feels like a Seattle Mariners fan pod.
Yeah, it's not really intentional. But
it's not, dude. They're just too good.
It's just stuff that has to be talked about.
Seattle's just simply playing too good of baseball, and I love good baseball.
They've legitimately been the best team in baseball since the deadline.
I would say, literally since the deadline. Oh, most definitely, yeah. And I was going to say, another most impressive thing is Julio Rodriguez is the fastest Mariner to 50 home runs in his career.
Is that true?
Yep.
Like faster than A-Rod and
faster than
Griffey?
A-Rod and Griffey Jr.
Wow, that's crazy.
I mean, that is a organization of pop bats.
Do you know what else is crazy? Now they're starting a series with Oakland, who's really bad. So they're going to probably win more games.
Yeah, not for nothing. We're talking about the schedule a lot. Seattle must have had a tough beginning.
Yeah, maybe that's why the record.
They're facing a lot of bad teams now.
Yeah, they're playing. What are they going to play? 3 against Oakland and then 3 against the Mets.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, well, that's kind of just working out in their favor.
Yeah,
they have a couple tough series coming up after that against Cincinnati and the Rays.
Their September is pretty tough.
Rays aren't going away too.
They got a series with the Dodgers in there. Couple with the Rangers.
The standings do show Houston in 3rd place right now, and they are in the 3rd wild card spot behind Texas, who we're going to talk about
by a percentage point.
Right. Yeah. Moving on over to the NL, another series we were talking about on Friday's episode, the Braves and San Francisco. This one went exactly how we said it was going to go, too.
Yep, the better team wins 2 out of 3.
We said the Braves were going to take 2 out of 3 or sweep. I actually thought they were going to sweep, and they almost did.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been surprised if they did, but shout out to the Giants for winning that one game, I guess.
San Francisco squeaks an 8-5 win on Sunday to avoid that sweep, and after losing 2 out of 3 to the best team in baseball, they're now a game and a half back of Arizona in the wild card.
Yep, I was just looking at that. I mean, Arizona's gotten really hot.
I mean, I don't know if you've looked at the wild card over the weekend, because it was a busy weekend just in general, but they're tied with the Reds right now, who they go to face in a series.
See, like, how does it keep working out like that?
It's so crazy.
Yeah, and they both need the series.
Yep. So Cincinnati's going over to San Francisco to play over at Oracle Park there.
The Cubs are still in there too. Like the NL wild card is crazy. It's gonna be a crazy race.
Yeah, talking about the Central, we're gonna talk about Milwaukee more because I wanted to give them a shout out. They're just playing such good ball lately.
Oh yeah, nice little 8-game win streak.
I just wanted to actually give some more love to. This is a specific player, not one that we've often been a fan of because we're Mets fans, but man, Freddie Freeman. Another 4-hit game, and he's now batting .341.
I mean, the one thing I'll actually say is, like, Freddie was, like, one of the only Braves that I didn't hate, so.
Well, that's the thing. It's hard to hate the guy. He's a phenomenal guy.
I would go as far to say as I like him. Yes, I liked him on the Braves. I mean, he killed us, but, like, he's not a douche.
Seems like a genuine dude. You would just want to shake his hand, and he's a good guy, man.
Yeah, and he would.
Plays phenomenal baseball. The best first base you can see.
Yeah, we're going to look back at Freddie Freeman's career, and we're going to be like, he was one of the best first basemen to ever do it.
He legitimately
is.
Yeah, most definitely.
If he wins this MVP, somehow if he comes up the rear and sneaks it out, because he's definitely in
He
there.
could.
He'd be a two-time MVP.
He's top 4 for sure.
Be a two-time MVP
Yeah,
there.
that'd be special. Yeah, the intro's kind of gonna end on a weird note. I don't know. I put a couple sad things here. Royals are 3-21, and Jordan Lyles starts this year.
Bro, that guy needs to get out of Kansas City as fast as he can.
We have talked about this a couple times on the pod. Jordan Lyles is used unlike any other pitcher in baseball.
They're abusing that poor man.
Just give up 8 runs, but also go 8 innings. I would just keep going.
They're like, we don't want to use our pen. We know you're gonna stink it up tonight. Just keep stinking it up.
And he does. Just keep going. He's an innings eater. You got to give him that.
That is the one thing that he does have.
Then the other thing I had that was super interesting, man. Only one team hasn't had a pitcher throw 99 plus all year. That's Colorado.
I mean, I think it's the stat that's crazier is that 29 teams have had. Dude, like everybody throws 100 now.
That's the thing. That's baseball now, and I think we've come to accept that baseball is velocity these days.
It's just insane.
Not in Colorado.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, they haven't figured it out yet.
And the saddest news of it all, man, my guy, Felix Bautista.
Yeah, that's a tough blow.
He goes to the 15-day IL with kind of an undisclosed UCL injury. They don't know how bad it is.
Hopefully it's not what, like, the worst case scenario, what it could be when you hear UCL. But,
I mean, if it is the worst case scenario, bro, we got Ohtani and Bautista in a week.
Yeah, but Batista's not going to hit still. Like, we're just not going to see him anymore.
He's just gone for a long time.
Until 25 if it ends up being Tommy John.
It's sad news, and it's really the sad reality of the game is that this happens to so many guys.
Especially because it's on a first-place team, and they're not in first by a lot, man. Like, the Rays are still right behind them by 2 games, and they just lost their all-star closer that we've been talking about, like a potential AL Cy Young award
winner. And it's wild, too. The Rays have lost, 4/5 of their starting rotation, and
it just doesn't matter for them.
They lost their young shortstop because he's a predator, probably, but...
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, they've had some pretty tough blows.
Tampa Bay is having an insane year, like, storyline. The actual narrative of Tampa Bay's year.
That franchise is just so well run.
And they keep winning.
Yep. That's why people keep trying to poach, like, GMs and front office people from the Rays coaches, because they're just so well run top to bottom.
Yep. We're going to get into the big series of the weekend, folks. We are going to start in the NL, and... man, it was like a weekend of baseball kind of just proving us right. It happened again in this one. The first place Brewers take on San Diego. And I think this series 100% proved that Milwaukee is a playoff team and San Diego is not.
Yeah, I mean, we were saying that if the Padres were to keep losing series, like, this would probably be where we wrap it on them. And now
we were worried about 2 out of 3.
They are tied in the standings with the Nationals now.
I was going to say that, yeah. We were worried about 2 out of 3. They got swept out of Milwaukee.
Yeah, I mean, that's a credit to the Brewers,
100%.
Because they've been playing some great ball. And they saw the Cubbies coming up behind them, and they put their foot on the gas.
These were hard-fought games. If you actually looked at the series, man, these are a lot of big spots. Like, a lot of 5 spots, a 7 spot in there. We're going to talk about it. The first game goes 7-3. Milwaukee puts up a 5 spot on Darvish in the third.
Huge third inning.
It's insane. William Contreras gets an RBI single. Adames gets a single. And then Rowdy Tellez with a 3-run bomb. And that makes it 5, man. That's his 13th of the year.
I don't know what the Padres were thinking when they gave Darvish that contract this
yeah,
offseason.
I know.
Don't know what they were doing.
He already was coming off an injury, too, right?
And he's like up there in age.
Definitely.
I don't know.
I think they just wanted strikeouts, man.
But he's going to be there until he's like 42.
Yeah, they made a lot of weird contracts.
It's not a good idea.
And it doesn't look great right now at all for them.
Oh, especially with like the amount of big contracts they already had on the payroll. I mean, they're definitely going to lose Blake Snell. There's no shot that they can keep him.
He's worth a lot of money now,
Yeah, there's no way that they're going to be able, especially if he wins the Cy Young again, there's no way that they're going to be able to keep
Pitching
him.
market's hot, and that guy is worth a lot.
Yeah, he's going to get paid somewhere.
A lefty that has an ERA like that, man, dude, it's like the hottest commodity in the sport.
If I'm the Mets, like I look hard at Blake Snell.
You should. If you have the money for Blake Snell, you should be looking
When's
at Blake
the last time the Mets had a good lefty like that?
With Steven Matz.
No, I said good lefty.
Okay, right.
Yeah, no,
right.
I said good.
Yeah. All right, but Milwaukee looked good beginning to end in this game, man. They only give up 3 in the game. Brandon Woodruff looks good, obviously in his limited innings, but he has 6 innings pitched in this game, 3 hits, 11 earned runs. excuse me, 1 earned run, 11 Ks.
He's one of the most underrated pitchers in baseball.
Yeah,
especially when he's on the same team as Burns, and Burns won the Cy Young, and he's that guy. But Woodruff he's a good two, very good two.
Woodruff absolutely shuts down San Diego in this game that they need to step up in, like we said.
Yeah, that one seemed to be all Brewers.
Yep, he sits at a 2.65 ERA and 34 innings pitched, obviously, because he's been banged up. The only run he gives up is a Machado solo homer.
Which, I mean, you just tip the cap to Manny.
25th of the year, yeah.
Yeah, just move on.
The second one goes 5-4 for San Diego. Well, obviously not for San Diego because they get swept.
Yeah.
But San Diego takes a quick lead in the second inning off Xander 15th homer of the year,
I mean, dude, it's just another 5 spot.
I was going to say, Xander Bogaerts gets a homer early in the game, and you feel good about it, right?
Yeah, I mean, you have to.
But then Milwaukee puts up another 5 spot.
In the bottom of the 5th this time, so it's later in the game now.
Yeah, they get an Andrew Monsterio single. There's a double steal there with a throwing error. I don't know if you saw that play. It was kind of funny.
No, I didn't see it.
No, it was a little funny. Ball skits away.
What, did you just throw it up the left field line?
Kind of, yeah. Double steal there because Monasterio's, his speed is insane. The guy is really good.
That seems to be a trend in baseball. A lot of fast guys are coming up.
Definitely, yeah. William Contreras gets his 30th double of the year. His fingerprints are all over the series.
Oh, yeah. I mean, over their season. That trade for him, I mean, they traded basically what they think is a franchise catcher, I think.
Yeah, and it's kind of hard to disagree.
Yeah, I don't really like the guy, but he has been really good for him.
Phenomenal ball player. Yeah. And Carlos Santana gets his 27th double of the year as well in that game.
One of the most under the radar trade.
Really
the best
good.
Under the radar trade.
Him and Lorenzen are really up there as the top two under the radar.
Santana has swung a hot bat since putting on a Brewers uniform. It's been pretty insane.
San Diego tries to claw back late in that game. They get Soto gets a 2-run bomb. That's his 25th of the year.
Speaking of somebody who's going to make a shit ton of money.
Yeah, that makes it 5-4, but it's just not enough. And Devin Williams comes in the game and gets 2 strikeouts out of the 3 batters he faces. That's his 31st save of the year.
That's another guy. I mean, I wonder what the Brewers are going to end up doing with him.
Yeah, they have a lot of contracts coming up, but they also have a lot of young guys, so it's kind of funny. Because they need to build around the young core.
Yeah, they might be in a good spot.
Hopefully Milwaukee's management tries.
They just got to shell out a little bit of money to keep some guys.
As long as their front office tries, it should be good.
Because Woodruff and Burns are both out of there soon.
Mm-hmm. The last game was an absolute slugfest. This was a 10-6 game. Dude, this is funny because we brought him up a couple times on this pod. Michael Wacha kind of comes down to earth a little bit.
Yeah, I mean,
5 1/3. He gives up 4 hits. 5 walks, 4 earned runs.
The year he was having, you're allowed to have a little bit of a hiccup.
Oh, most definitely. It's it really, the day only got out of hand because his control just wasn't there. Gives up 5 walks in the game.
Yeah, which, I mean, he that does happen to him sometimes.
Yeah,
he'll just lose it and he just walks too many people.
Fair enough. Him and Steven Wilson, the reliever, they combined to give up a 7 spot. in the 6th inning.
Now it's just getting later.
It's the story of the series. We have 2 5 spots and a 7 spot by Milwaukee. I mean, good teams will just find a way to do that, right?
That's why they're in first.
Yep, that's baseball. So, I mean, capping that series, that's a sweep for Milwaukee. They're feeling phenomenal. Milwaukee's up 4 games in the NL Central, and San Diego is 8 games back. And like you said, the same records as the Nationals.
Which is insane.
They got 1 win more than the Mets.
I mean, we got to talk about them as a just as big of a failure as the Mets.
Yeah, no, it's hard to disagree. They're the second payroll.
Yeah,
and they're just as bad.
And the third is the Yankees, who are not much better.
No, it's I bet all those small town GMs are feeling good this year.
Like Milwaukee.
Yeah, money doesn't win you championships. I'm not going.
But this is what I'm talking about. So Milwaukee's in first place with David Stearns. He's leaving, and you know where he's most likely going.
I think I know where he's going.
Imagine David Stearns with money.
Yeah, it might be wild. It might be wild.
That should be fun if that's how that goes.
I just wanted to ask you, is San Diego's season over?
I would say yes.
We officially pin it at 8 games back at this point in the season.
I think with a month left, dude, this team doesn't have the juice to. They're 9 games under 500. Like we're saying, they got the same record as the Washington Nationals. Do you think the Nationals are making the playoffs?
Credit to the Nationals for even being there.
Do you think the Nationals?
No.
There you go.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say they are probably both done.
And I understand the Padres on paper have a much better team than the Nationals, but on paper doesn't matter anymore.
I mean, it definitely
It's
doesn't.
almost September.
If you have the same amount of wins, it doesn't matter at all.
It doesn't matter anymore. They are equally as bad as the Nationals at this point in the season. So, yes, I do think their season's over.
San Diego starts a 3-game set in St. Louis. I think we're going to stop talking about them as much.
Yeah, I don't
Not
think we're
gonna
going to be... That series is just not going to be a good one.
But Milwaukee, a huge series on the team that they are up 4 games on in the Central right now. They start a 3-game set in Wrigley
Both
on
teams
Monday.
been playing real well.
They start that today, so I mean that's a must-watch game.
See, like, that's probably the biggest series so far that we've brought up for this upcoming week so far.
I would say so, yeah. It's a big week, though. They are a big week, because we're going to talk about it later, but the Snakes got the Dodgers.
Yeah.
I mean, like, the teams have to prove themselves this week.
Definitely.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that series. It's going to be huge between Milwaukee and the Cubs.
Speaking of the Diamondbacks, as we were just talking about how they're going to be playing the Dodgers upcoming, they continued their 4-game set against the Reds in Arizona.
Like we said, they got that first game 3-2, like we said on Friday's episode.
Yeah. Game 2, though, it goes 10-8 in favor of the D-backs in an offensive explosion from both teams. The Snakes have a hot fourth. That's where it was 1-0. Cincinnati gets on the board first. The Snakes go for 5 in the fourth, just like what we were just talking about.
Another
with the
big
Brewers.
5 spot, man, and it's really big. I just wanted to, quick clarification-wise, who won that first game? Was it Cincinnati or the Snakes, 3-2?
It was it was Arizona.
Okay, so Arizona wins the first one, and then they win the second one as well. So now they're up 2-0.
Yeah.
After having a big 5 spot in that game too. I mean, you win 10-8, you're scoring half your runs in one inning.
Yep.
Huge.
The five runs came from a Thomas single, a Peterson triple, a 2-run triple that was, and Pham, who's been really, really good for the D-backs.
God, he has. I
He
also wanted
was
to
on a
give
14-game hit streak.
Yeah, well, phenomenal stuff. Yeah, I wanted to give credit to Alec Thomas too. He's been a really good lefty bat for them all year.
Yep, that was a 2-run single for Pham to make it 5-1. Nick Martini. Haven't heard this name since 2019, really.
Wild story.
He hits a pair of home runs. His first 2 home runs since 2019.
Yep, in the same game?
Yeah.
Pretty wild to do, man.
Yeah, I mean,
Hasn't played professional. Well, professional, he has.
He played
Major
a couple
league baseball.
He did play a couple games for them last year and the year before that, but he just didn't hit any homers.
Yeah, fair enough.
He hasn't hit any since 2019, so...
And shout out to Ginkel because he picks up the 4th save there.
Yeah.
They do seem to have a bit of a role-less bullpen.
I think Sewald is the closer, but I think he was just off for this game because it was to give him a day.
He should be the full-time closer. I agree with that.
Yeah, he's approaching 30 saves, so I think he still is viewed as the head guy out there.
Right.
All right, so that's the wrap on 2. Flip over to Saturday, Game 3, another battle. This one goes 8-7 in favor of Cincinnati.
And Cincinnati finally gets a game in this series to try to strike even in the rubber.
It takes 11 innings though. Arizona gets up early with a 3 spot in the 5th.
Yeah, there was a weird passed ball too, right? They get a run early in the game.
So they're up 4-0. I mean, there was not much pitching in this series, and we thought there would be a little more.
Yeah, we kind of based it off pitching when we were setting it up on the weekend episode, but it's pretty wild. No, Marte hits his 21st homer of the year. That's Ketel Marte.
Yeah, those were the 3 runs.
Yeah.
That was the 3 runs in the 5th. 21 home runs from Ketel.
Yeah.
He's got some pop for a second baseman.
He really does. It's good to see.
I've always been a fan of his. The Reds come all the way back. They roar back. They tie it real late, too. 1 in the 8th, 2 in the 9th.
Yeah, it's the reason this game went so late is because that team just did not quit.
I mean...
This was to lose 3 in a row. This was going to be losing 3 out of 4 guaranteed in the series. They wouldn't have it.
The Reds have to step up, too. So, seeing shit like this, it's nice to see. It was McLean homered in the 6th to add 1. Then in the 8th, like I just said, it was Martini again. He RBI single. Scores De La Cruz.
That wasn't a double?
No, it was a single.
Oh, okay.
And then Tyler Stevenson doubled to score Noelvi Marte, and then McLean grounds out to make it 4-4 in the top of the 9th.
A sack ground out by Matt McLean ties the game up. God, so clutch. Just
I mean,
doing what you have to
just
do.
put the ball in play.
Thank God. I like to see the young Reds kind of get some spark back in them. They kind of lost it a bit in recent days.
Yeah, they have been a little bit slow, but they surely woke up for the Saturday game.
Most definitely.
Steer goes and doubles his 30th of the year in the top of the 10th to give the Reds a 5-4 lead. And who else but Nick Martini?
This is the one I was thinking of. This is the double I was thinking
Yeah,
of.
he hits his first double of the year, a ground rule double, to give the Reds a 6-4 lead.
So crazy that Nick Martini's name is coming up just firmly in this wild card race.
This series specifically, he has his fingerprints all
2
over.
homers and a double with an RBI single. God, good for you, buddy.
Yeah, in 2 days, that's a lot of work. Encarnacion Strand adds a single to make it 7-4 in the 10th. Bottom 10, though, the D-backs are not done yet.
And a 3-run cushion is big.
Oh, yeah.
The Ghost Runner only gives you the 1. Man, they got 2 more.
Yeah, it was due to a little bit of mistake from the Reds defensively. Perdomo singles, that one wasn't an error, so it's 7-5 now. And then Tommy Pham reaches on a weird error by the second baseman.
Yeah, that was a funny play. It was a Matt McLean error. Like we said, though, the sack ground out before is the only reason they're still playing right now.
Yeah.
So Matt McLean, he giveth and taketh.
Yeah, but you can't really afford to do that late.
No, you can't. But
you got to field the grounder.
But that's the thing. I mean, hitting that sack ground out in the 9th, I mean, it's a big one. So, I mean, plus minus.
Yeah, that's true. I hear what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Christian Walker, sack fly, ties it at 7. The craziest part, this game was such a back-and-forth offensive battle. The game ends the top of the 11th with TJ Hopkins batting. Friedel gets balked in.
I was genuinely disappointed to see this. This game was such a battle, and it's like, maybe it was a balk. Like, did you see it?
It was Nabil Krismak, yeah.
Like, it kind of looked like a balk, but it's like, can you just let them play it out, please?
I mean, if it looked like a balk...
Was it that deceptive that it... But, like, is it that deceptive that the game needs to end on it?
The rules are the rules.
It's pretty sad to see, but, yeah, it ends up giving the split here. I mean, a huge split, too.
No.
No,
it's only 2 out of 3 for the D-backs so far.
Oh, this is 2 out of 3 for the D-backs on that point? Oh, all right.
So that game ends 8-7. The D-backs, like I just said, go up. They take a 2-3 lead in the or 2-1 lead in the 4-game series. Lucas Sims picks up his 3rd save. So that's nice to see. I mean, he's had a pretty good year for the Reds.
Right.
Game 4, finally, the one that caps it. The Snakes just win 5-2.
All right, so yeah, correction on that one. Definitely no split because this one was just a good game by the Snakes.
It was just the D-backs being better than the Reds, I think.
Another late 3 spot in this one.
Yeah, they win 5-2. Thompson picks up his save, so maybe you do have a little bit of a point about the Royals bullpen.
It's weird, right? It's funny.
I don't really know what was going on this series, but it looked like it was Seawald up until this point.
Clearly, the D-backs have a 3-run lead there, so you want to go for an easy save. They don't go for Seawald.
Yeah,
they go for Thompson.
Yeah, and it was with them taking the lead late in the 8th with a 3 spot. That's where they went up.
Right. So the Snakes take 3 out of 4 in that one. Huge series for the Snakes.
Yeah, now they're up 1.5 on the final wildcard spot over the Reds.
Like I said, they have a 3-game coming up against the Dodgers. So they have to prove themselves.
And they give themselves a little bit of cushion now.
Being a game and a half up on the final wildcard spot over the Reds, who are facing off against someone they're tied up with in the Giants.
Yeah.
Reds and Giants facing off.
In a more competitive series.
I mean, the Snakes have to step up against the Dodgers right now.
That's a tough ask.
It really is. But, like, one of these teams is going to win 2 out of 3 or sweep. They have to.
Yeah.
Literally. It's a 3-game set. San Francisco and the Reds, somebody has to win that series. So the D-backs have to step up against the second-best team in the NL.
I agree. And I don't really think they will. Maybe they will. I don't know. They've been up there with Seattle as probably the second hottest team.
Yeah.
Maybe Milwaukee.
If we're on Wednesday talking about how they have a chance to sweep, man, I'd be happy.
That would be a storyline for sure.
I would be happy for them.
Yeah, that would be cool. So, I mean, we will keep our eye on it for sure.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed the NL West, even though a lot of it is wild card based. It's fun to watch.
Entertainment is entertainment, man.
Yeah, it is.
And those tight races are entertaining for sure.
Yeah, we're going to keep an eye on those series. Now we're going to move it on over to the Interleague. This was a pretty recent World Series matchup between the Red Sox and the Dodgers.
Yeah, 2018.
They move it on over to Fenway, and we said this is a really, like, you have to prove yourself series for the Red Sox. Did they? Let's see. Game 1, 7-4 Dodgers.
So
yeah,
no.
I mean, we'll no, give him a chance. Give him a chance, but Lance Lynn comes back to earth a bit in that one. 6 innings pitched, 10 hits, 4 runs, only 3 earned. He gives up 2 homers
That's
in that
still
game.
a quality start.
I was actually going to ask, is that a quality start?
I think it is.
As long as you get, I genuinely, with the statistic, how does it work?
What do you mean?
He gave up 3 earned runs, but he gave up 4 in the game. That's quality?
Yeah, 3 earned runs is 3 earned runs.
It's earned, okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough, so that's a quality start for him. Cutter Crawford goes 5 innings pitched, 4 hits, 7 Ks. He gives up 2 earned runs. They've been doing this a lot this year where they go, Pavetta comes out of the pen to try to do like a little spot thing.
Bridges after Crawford?
Yeah.
Or is it just starters in general?
Starters in general,
it's
he's
not
been doing. I mean, specifically Crawford, because Crawford's kind of considered a starter-reliever mix.
Yeah, I've always thought Cutter Crawford was a reliever.
Yeah, I mean, apparently they're trying to transfer him into the starter, but Pavetta comes in, 2 innings pitched and 4 earned runs.
That's not what you want to see.
Nah, it's pretty ugly. The combo doesn't work this time, and the Dodgers formula, again, works. That's kind of what happens. But Boston bounces back, and they get their win. 8-5 on Saturday. Urias, 6 innings pitched, 8 hits, 1 walk, 9 Ks, 6 earned runs for Julio Urias.
Yeah, he really hasn't had a good year. In a contract year.
It's really disappointing because that's another L for him.
It's strange because he like up until this year has been like such a dominant lefty.
Yeah, and Urias after that game is 11-7 with a 4.41 ERA. It's like he transferred his powers like Thunderstruck. Have you seen the movie Thunderstruck?
Yeah, with Kevin Durant.
Right, it was like that, but he transferred his powers over to Blake Snell, which is pretty wild.
Yeah, I mean, Blake Snell had those powers first in the American League, to be fair.
I guess he did, that's true. Former Cy Young. Paxton in that game, another lefty, goes 4 1/3 innings pitched, 4 hits. He gives up 5 walks, 4 Ks, 4 earned runs.
I don't really know what happened to James Paxton, man. Well, I do. Injuries happened to James Paxton, unfortunately.
Injuries and age is kind of what happened. The thing is, I don't know what happened to Urias.
I think he's just having a bad year, man. It happens. Like
he still goes 6 in that game, but he gives up 6, so it's a pretty ugly one.
Yeah, he never want to give up
W's
6.
to Bernardino out of the pen. Maybe I'm wrong on that name.
Bernardino,
there you go. He goes, he gets the win in 1/3 of an inning.
So a solid year, though. He's 2-1 with a 2.55.
It tells the story of this game that he gets it in 1/3 of an inning. It was so back and forth. I had the running score here. Dodgers go up early 1-0. Then the game gets tied 1-1. The Dodgers take a 2-1 lead. Then it goes 2-2.
Immediate answer.
The Dodgers go up 4-2. Then the Red Sox put up a 3 spot to go up 5-4. Huge. Absolutely huge for Boston to go up in the middle of that game because they really never looked back. Boston goes up 6-4 on a Reese McGuire single and then 7-4 on a Justin Turner single. Betts tries to claw back with a single of his own for an RBI.
It was nice to see the Red Sox fans give him a standing ovation.
Yeah, he had a really fun weekend just kind of getting celebrated by the city. I mean,
as he should, man. Yeah. He was so good for them.
There's nothing but love for Mookie Betts in Boston.
And he's still so good.
But the game ends up 8-5 in the favor of the Boston Red Sox, which is huge for the Red Sox to take that game back, like we said. The Dodgers on Sunday, they go with an opener versus Tanner Houck. Or Tanner Houck.
It's just like an epidemic in baseball. Every team does it now.
But they win.
I mean, it works. It works for some teams a lot of the time. That's why they keep doing it.
They win 7-4 on Sunday. Tristan Cassis hits his 21st homer of the year. Turner hits his 22nd homer of the year, and Duvall hits his 16th homer of the year. But it is not enough to win the game.
Duvall got robbed by his wrist being broken, man. He could have had a 30 homer season for sure.
Most definitely. The Red Sox, that's my thing. Having 3 big homers in that game and still losing 7-4, nah, it's not what you want.
You want to know why? Because the Dodgers are just better.
Yeah, I mean, it was
simply put
keeping runners off the bags so that they just couldn't get those multi-run homers. That's what makes it
like
different.
we were just talking about. What other team in baseball has multiple MVP candidates besides the Braves?
It's literally the Braves and the Dodgers.
Exactly.
That's it. Yep, they're the only ones.
You have 2 guys that could legitimately win an MVP.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Some of them, I mean, you can kind of argue 3. for a couple of them.
Yeah.
So it's pretty wild, dude. I mean, I don't know. The power balance, it's not balanced. That's all.
Yeah.
But
the balance is off.
The Dodgers start a series in Chavez Ravine against the Diamondbacks, like we said. The Diamondbacks have to prove themselves in that one, and the Dodgers have to say, this is our division, get out of our building.
And I think they probably will.
I think they will, too. Like we said, I mean, Arizona's sitting at a -3 run differential to the Dodgers, 152 positive.
Yeah, I mean, there's levels to this.
Yeah, and the levels are pretty clear. Boston starts another home series against Houston. Man, we just talked about them last week.
We were saying that they were linking up again.
Boston and Houston meeting up for the second time in a week, and Boston has to make another statement. Seems like Boston's been having to make a lot of statements lately.
Hey, I mean, sometimes it's beneficial to play a team right away like that because you know what you're getting.
I mean, as long as they have a good September, maybe. But yeah, they lose a game and a half in the series. They were 3 games back when we started. Now they're 4.5 back.
Houston has been scuffling, man.
Yep. So this is huge for both of those teams. Houston has to prove themselves against Boston, who they just lost 3 out of 4 against. Right? Maybe they split. No,
they did lose the series.
Yeah, and it was a dominating 17-1 win for Boston in the last game. So this is going to be a statement game to start the series out this time.
Absolutely. Keeping it into the AL West, I mean, the Rangers continue to struggle and drop 3 of 4 to the Twinkies.
Been the most fascinating reverse story between them and the Mariners. They're just on the wrong path, and the Mariners are just on the right one.
That's why that stat about how fast Seattle made up the 10 games is happening, because the Rangers have just fallen off a cliff.
Yeah, it's really sad to see. They went on a long losing streak that they just snapped.
And then they lose it.
They lose 3-4 to a team that we were saying isn't very impressive.
No.
You had to prove yourself against Minnesota because they're a quote-unquote first-place team, but you're supposed to be the actual good team out of these two.
Yeah, I mean, they just didn't do what they were supposed to do again.
We already said on Friday's episode, Thursday's game ended in a 7-5 Rangers loss. That's a win for the Twins.
Yeah, we also were talking about on it that come Monday, we might be saying that Seattle's in first place. And what do you know?
They're up a game. There you go.
They are up a single game on both the Rangers and the Astros.
And how do the Rangers respond to losing 7-5 on Thursday, Mike?
They get absolutely blasted, 12-2, in just an absolute dominant fashion from the Twins.
A really ugly game for the Rangers, man. They got absolutely blown out in this one.
I mean, it was over in the first. It was 4-0.
Yeah, they put up a 4 spot in the first. I mean, Matt Wallner hits a triple on a sharp line right away.
Bases clearing 3-run triple.
A 3-run triple in the first is a real statement maker.
I mean, the game, it was all Twins.
Yeah, I mean,
from the jump.
Anything the Rangers tried to get going, it just did not work, and obviously 12-2 is a pretty speaking score.
Benches actually cleared in that game because Sonny Gray and Dane Dunning were hitting people, and they thought it was intentional for some reason.
I don't think it was. It didn't look like it.
I think it probably was.
Did it look like it looked like they meant it?
Yeah, I don't think Dane Dunning meant it, and then I think Sonny Gray did
answered.
mean it.
All right, Sonny Gray answered. Fair enough, if so.
I mean, regardless, you're fighting like that in a 12-2 game, guys. Like, how about instead of getting angry about getting hit, you hit the ball?
Well, that's the thing. Maybe they're angry in general, and that's their way of taking it out.
Well, maybe redirect those emotions from anger and just try to hit the ball.
It's a frustrating spot that they're in right now for sure. Game 3 is the only game that the Rangers end up taking in this game.
Yeah, they do salvage
in the
one.
series, excuse me. That's a 6-2 game, and it's a stellar start by their new ace, Max Scherzer.
I mean, they could have easily lost this game, too, if it wasn't for a 4 spot, which was the difference in the top of the 9th.
Yeah, and phenomenal pitching by Max Scherzer again. He goes 7 innings pitched, gives up 4 hits, he gives up a walk, 10 strikeouts.
Yeah, he was great.
Always good strikeout stuff, and only 2 earned runs.
Yeah.
He's at a 371 after that.
The 9th inning was just insane. I mean, Grossman, he walks to give them the lead. You're walking in the go-ahead run.
Yeah.
This is what I'm talking about with the Twins.
Super disappointing stuff.
Like, you're walking in the go-ahead run. Then he walks in the second run, or the fourth one, to go up 4-2. Then he hits Marcus Semien to go down 5-2. and then Corey Seager hits a sacrifice fly.
Crazy. The sloppiest inning one could have. He did not give up a hit in that stretch there.
And the game's over.
He didn't give up a stretch, but he gave up 4. Or he didn't give up a hit in that stretch, but gave up 4 runs?
Yeah.
God, that's pretty sad.
It's just, it didn't, I mean, that was, Jax was the one who, and that was in a third of an inning, dude.
Mm-hmm.
He goes a third of an inning, gives up 2 hits, 4 runs, 4 earned, 2 walks, 1 K. I mean, just absolutely a non-factor. Like, he did the opposite.
Yeah, well, he was a factor. In
for the Rangers.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, and then
the last game was really disappointing.
Just when the Rangers get, they think they're hitting their stride, they win a game late on a lot of just unforced.
Yeah, so they go for the split on Sunday, and what happens, man? They lose 7-6
in the 13th.
Yeah, another one goes deep. It's pretty sad, man. The Rangers are dominating this game early.
Yep, it was all Rangers. JP Martinez gets his first home run, and Heim hits a grand slam to go up 5-0. That's his 15th of the year.
You're feeling good about that game if you're the Rangers, man. You're feeling like you're getting out of here with a split, and you can kind of get back on track. They would have, if they won this game, been tied with they would have been a half game back, right? Maybe, I don't know.
They would have been a half
full
game
back now. So yeah, they would have been a half game back, but still, I mean, it makes a difference, bro. Every game makes a difference.
That was for the Rangers. It was Jordan Montgomery again. He was having a nice start, and then he just hit a wall in the 6th,
right.
And the Twins would get back in the game because of a Royce Lewis grand slam of his own. His 7th home run of the year to make it 5-4 in the 6th, and now we got a new ball game.
They load up the pillows, and Royce Lewis takes him home, baby. I love to see it.
They don't get another run until the bottom of the 9th off of Aroldis Chapman again. He blows another save. It's a Donovan Solano, just a single. I mean, Chapman blows the game. It's 5-5.
With that, Aroldis Chapman has now blown more than half of his saves.
I just don't know if he should be the guy that's out there anymore.
It doesn't seem like it, man. With this team trying to make a playoff run, yeah, disappointing stuff from Chapman.
Each team gets a run in the 12th before Hernandez would walk in Michael Taylor for the walk-off. Walk-off walk.
Another walk in this game. I think it's kind of the story of this game is just, wow, dude. I guess the series was just sloppy pitching.
Do you know how angry I would be as a fan if my team walked off by, like they walked in the run?
As part of a sad skid as well, the Rangers are just absolutely skidding, and that's how they respond.
You just can't afford to lose games that way. I mean, literally, now it cost them. They're a game. They were tied yet. As of yesterday, they were tied. They lose that game by walking in a run. Seattle wins again. Now they're up.
Yeah, they're 1-9 in their last 10, and it's just been really embarrassing ball since the deadline.
Yeah, it's just been ugly.
They move over to Citi Field to play a 3-game set against the Mets, right?
Yeah, and they're under 500 on the road now. 31-33.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll see how the Metsies respond to that, but
I don't have high hopes for the Mets.
Not for nothing, though. But if Texas has a bad series against the Mets, dude, that's that's a fork.
Yeah, that could be really, really tough.
Stick a fork in them, they might be done.
Yeah, I mean they're just hanging on barely anyway.
Yeah, the team's just playing such terrible baseball, embarrassing baseball.
They're 6 behind the Rays for the first wild card, and they're only 2.5 up in the playoffs right now.
I think if you actually watch a team, the only team playing more embarrassing baseball than them in the league right now is the Yankees.
Yeah, I mean,
both of these teams, if you watch their games, they play minor league baseball at best.
Which is so weird because you never would have thought that the Yankees would be playing like that.
I was gonna say after the All-Star break, I would have never thought we're talking about Texas like they play minor league ball.
No,
that roster is crazy.
Yeah, their offense is still. I mean, they still have a really high differential, so I guess their pitching just needs to clamp it up.
That is literally what it is, and a lot of it is late game pitching too. Because the only game they won was because Scherzer went so deep.
The Rangers notoriously don't build a good bullpen,
and that is
showing again.
They tried this year, and it's still not working. Guys like Chapman really letting them down.
Yeah, it's weird. Even guys like Chapman who are coming over just aren't getting it done. It's like a curse.
We'll definitely keep an eye on if they can answer back against the Mets, who are now sitting firmly in last place in the NL East.
One last thing I just wanted from you. Now that the Mariners have overtaken them, they're in first place, and we're talking about they're only 2.5 games in the playoffs in general, the Rangers. Is it time to panic?
Oh, we've been saying. That's the thing. We've been saying. They should have been panicking in the middle of last week.
I'm talking about the players. Do you think they're starting to panic?
I think that's kind of what has been happening is this. A lot of it might be mental. The reason they keep losing these close games, man, these guys come into high-pressure situations that they haven't been in before, and they just melt down.
Yeah, I mean, we'll keep our eye. Well, specifically because we'll be watching the games, but we'll be watching the Rangers this week, and it could get real ugly if they lose the series to the Mets.
And the Twins go into a series against the second-place Cleveland Guardians, so that's going to be a statement series for them.
Yeah, the second-place Cleveland Guardians.
I mean, not for nothing. If Minnesota has a bad series against that Cleveland team, it says something.
It says something about Texas.
It says something about Minnesota, too.
Well, we already know they're not that good of a team.
Well, we'll see that, because this was a good
We've
series.
already seen it.
But have we? This was a good
they're
series.
5 games above 500. They're not a first-place team anywhere else.
They stepped up in this series.
That's just because the Rangers are playing horrible ball.
Fair enough. So we will keep an eye on it. Yeah, Rangers probably press that panic button.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks, everybody, for watching and listening anywhere that you do. This was episode 16 of the 9 Frames podcast. It's Monday, August 28th, 2023. I'm Bill Whalen.
I've been Mike Whalen.
And you can catch us on YouTube at 9 Frames Podcast. You can catch us on Spotify at 9 Frames. X, we're on there at 9 Frames Pod, and we're on playergm.com, folks.
Be sure, like we said in the intro, to like and subscribe and just run up those numbers for us.
Yeah, I mean, press the bell notification on YouTube if you want a notification every time we go live with a new video on the channel. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, we appreciate everyone that's been listening up to this point.
Yeah, leave a comment if you got any thoughts, and we'll talk to you on Wednesday.
Yeah, we'll see you for the midweek.